people over here.
That's the way it goes.
I know. Can't ever. I'm sure you pushed the button already, right?
I did push the button.
Yeah.
So we're live already?
Yeah. See, this is why when I typed out that join us on Friday around 9, this is why. Because Randy keeps helping customers when they walk in, answering the phone when it rings.
We always put people before projects. And you know what?
I'm a project, apparently.
I forgot to ask you.
Customer again.
What's the thickness of your plexiglass?
1/8 inch, 3/16, and 1/4 inch.
And they come in 4x8 sheets just like plywood?
Mhm.
Okay, I got something I want you. 2 windows I want to replace on my Airstream, and then I want to make them up, put them back in. They're in the heavy rock zones, and I just want to put, plexiglass in there.
Yep, we'll get you a price on it. Okay.
Wealth of information.
You know what? After a long, hard, cold, dry,
Josh,
windy weather, there's
You
nothing
go
Right
ahead.
ahead. You're
We're
good.
I like to see better than a beautiful pack of spring flowers.
You
Now,
know
doesn't that
what?
just make you feel good?
Our seed displays are my favorite thing. I remember coming into the hardware store where you were working at a different store when I was a child, and when the spring seeds came out, it was so pretty. All I wanted to do was look at every single one of them.
You know, it really improved my attitude. And think of that. Rachel, do you know what you call a country that only has pink cars?
No.
A pink carnation. You know why you'd never, you know how some people when they pick specimens that they want to save, that they'll take an iron and iron them flat?
Of the flowers?
Flowers,
Okay.
leaves, the school project where
bugs.
you iron a leaf and put it in a book so you can identify it. You know why you never do that to a 4-leaf clover?
Why?
You don't want to press your luck. I've got a million of them.
Apparently.
You know
Let's
what?
stop
You know-
with
This
two.
is what happens. Yeah, you're full of plant-based.
And I've read a lot about this. You know what's going to happen when worms take over the world?
A lot. No, what will happen?
That's known as global worming.
Get your dewormer out,
Oh,
folks.
No, what we want to talk about today,
We're full of it.
let's talk about some plants and seeds and
Yes.
potatoes and onions. And
Because I need all the help I can get.
okay, let's talk about potatoes first.
Okay, potatoes. Potatoes are easy, right? They're one of the easier things you can grow.
Fairly easy, but a lot of time new gardeners are confused by the varieties of potatoes.
Okay.
Right here there's an example of a Yukon Gold
They all look brown and dirty to me.
on the outside.
They all look like they need butter, sour cream, cheese, and bacon to make.
These are raw. John.
This is a
These are
cobbler.
raw.
It's called an Irish cobbler potato. This is called a red Pontiac potato.
I can see a little bit of the redness coming through.
And this is a Kennebec potato. And what we're going to talk about a little bit this morning is the characteristics of these potatoes.
I think you're saying potatoes.
Potato.
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 Enunciate.
It's okay.
Let's talk about the Kennebec first. Kennebec is probably our most popular potato.
It's funny. Now I noticed it again.
But anyway, it's our most popular one. It's a bigger potato, and it grows a little bit flat. It's not exactly round. The Kennebec is a good all-around potato. You can use it to mash. You can use it to make French fries. It really shines as a frying potato.
So is it less moist? Because
No,
usually
it's-
when you fry them, you don't want to have a whole lot of moisture in there.
Well, it's pretty moist, but
Maybe that's just my bad frying techniques.
well, and I'll tell you what, a new potato, one just dug like yesterday.
Yeah, a fresh one.
It's not going to brown very good because it doesn't have the starches.
Yeah.
They haven't accumulated starches.
It'll be sweeter when it's new, right?
Exactly. And the new potatoes are good for cooking and that sort of thing. But you can see the Kennebec is a real white flesh. Pretty thin
That's
skin.
a big close up there.
And it's a good
In case they've never seen a tater.
good all around potato. And Kennebec keeps well if you're going to keep your potatoes over winter.
Okay.
The next potato we've got here is the cobbler. You can see how the cobbler is a much more round potato, kind of like a basketball. And by the way, I picked
it
Loyola
looks-
to win yesterday.
Sure
For
look.
those of you that have brackets out there.
Sure look. Sure.
And anyway,
That
the
basketball
cobbler-
looks flat, by the
cobbler's
way.
I know, I was going to say, it's lost a little bit of air if that's a basketball.
It's an old variety, very old variety. the advantage to the cobbler is it's a very early potato. This one matures very early, so you'll have early potatoes. Doesn't keep very well, so plant them.
So these
grow
will be your
them,
new spring potatoes.
use them up. There again, this is going to be a white flesh potato. It may be a little bit more golden than the Kennebec. Not
Nope,
much.
looks
Pretty
almost
white.
identical.
Yeah. But the big difference is this is an early potato. Get that in the ground and harvest it early.
I feel like we should be doing taste tests as well, but they're
This
raw,
is-
and I don't want to do that.
This is the Yukon Gold. It's a good baking potato. It's not the very best mashing potato, I don't think, but it's a really good baking potato. And you're going to find that this
like
one has more of a, almost a buttery flavor without the butter, and it looks, the flesh is going to look more golden or more yellow in this one.
I will take all the buttery flavor in the world.
Yeah, it's butter.
Butter makes it butter.
Yeah. Now see, that is a yellow golden potato.
Potato, yes.
Yeah. Now here is the, and you're going to have to get pretty close to see the red. As these potatoes mature more, the red will show through. And I don't know if I can scrape just a little bit. You can see some of the red on the skin.
You're getting our Yukon dirty.
It's not going to be real red on the inside,
There goes my lunch.
Excuse me.
but this potato makes ideal potato salad.
Can I see one of them?
Yes, you can.
Get the dirt off there. They're a little
while
bit
you're
more red.
Just take another look at it. I'm going to review my notes.
Okay.
The red potato is more waxy.
That's probably why it holds up in the potato salad pretty well.
The red potato is no good at all for mashing. The Yukon Gold, like I said earlier,
I wouldn't have known
it's
that.
a all-purpose white skin, yellow flesh. It's waxy. It has a little coarser texture. It's ideal for boiling, baking, and making French fries. We talked about the cobbler. Its attribute is it's an early potato. The Kennebec is your best frying potato. And in our part of the country, fried potatoes are good.
Well, yes. I don't think it's untrue anywhere. I mean,
Right.
that's a fact.
Now we're going to talk about...
No, wait. How do you plant them?
Oh, well...
How do you make these things grow? I
right.
can't just...
You don't take a whole potato and just drop it in the ground. What you want to look for is what's called the eye. That's an eye, which is a little sprout. That's an eye. That's the beginning of an eye. And that's an eye.
Sometimes they look like they have a whole eyebrow, and it just depends.
But when you're
That
going to...
one, look, it looks like a whole eyebrow right there.
I'm going to go back to this one.
Josh is like, I don't see it.
If
but
you're going to
crazy.
plant that potato, you're going to want to cut the eye, and that's the part you plant. And then you look for another eye, and you cut that one.
I'd just like to point out that we do have some really nice knives in the back too.
Yeah, this
This is a Randy's.
that's a case
pocket
butter
special.
bean that I've had for years. Butter bean, plants,
Yeah,
seeds,
I
get
got it.
But it is a butter
That was
bean
a
case knife.
conscious choice.
There again, here's a section where I'm going to get two eyes out of that one.
So
And when you plant that, the chunk of potato that you left with the eye becomes the food source for that sprout until it gets established. So don't plant the whole potato when you plant
okay,
it.
so you cut the eyes, you cut the potato up so you have eyes, and then what do?
Well, you
you
put them in the ground.
Put them in the ground. Doesn't matter how tall, how deep, how far apart.
Well, you'd want them, yeah. They're
See,
probably...
I'm a newbie. I don't know any of this stuff.
I'm just going from memory now, and I'm going to say 6 to 8 inches deep, probably 12 inches apart. For Kennebecs, that's typically what we planted when I was growing up. Dad always wanted the eye facing up. I have learned since then that it doesn't make any difference. It's going to figure out which way's up. I think that was just a little joke that he played on us, was to make sure we planted it with the eye up so they could see where they were going.
Yep.
But that's it.
One way to keep 4 boys in line.
6 to 8 inches deep, 12 inches apart. Cover them and let them do their thing.
Awesome. And about how long does it take for?
You got me on that one. I don't know the answer to that one right offhand.
But
the earliest is the cobbler. The latest is the Kennebec.
Okay.
Hence, that's why the Kennebec can get bigger, because it takes longer to mature.
Awesome. Well, we'll come back to you
But,
on harvesting later.
Yeah. And I will look that up. I'll get the maturity dates on each one of these varieties.
But it takes a while.
It takes a while.
It's not going to be It's not one of those overnighters.
It's taken me 35 years to mature. I'm still not there.
It's not done yet.
I'm not gonna mature.
So what else do we have? We also
Okay, we have onions.
we've got some really cool onion
You
sets.
can buy onions in plants. These just came in yesterday. This is one of the hottest onions out there right now, not flavor-wise, but popularity. This is the candy sweet onion, and people just love these things. We can't keep enough of them.
They're not spicy.
No,
What do
they're
you
not.
mean they're not a
They're
hot
a
flavor?
mild-
They're a
mild,
delicious onion, but they're not spicy.
They come. You can buy those in the plants. Onions also come in bulbs. These are the white silver skin onions. They grow into big, like a big hamburger onion. They don't keep very well if you're going to try to keep them over winter. There again, grow these, use them, enjoy them. You can also pull them when they're small, like a little scallion, and have them with your salads.
And those are more of that traditional, you know,
Big old, a
acidic
little bite to
flavor.
it.
Yeah.
Right, a little bite.
I don't even know what that flavor. It's just an onion flavor.
And this is the old standby. This is the yellow Danver onion. They don't get really, really big. They have a little spicier flavor, a little more garlicky onion flavor. There again, you can pull them when they're young. Use them as little green onions. You can let them mature, pull them up, let the tops dry, hang them in a cool, dry location, and they'll carry over winter pretty well.
Are these the ones that you'd stick in the pantyhose?
Yeah, used to do that. Keep them, air gets
That's
around.
that's how I saw 'em. So I've always wondered, do each of these just get bigger and that's your onion, or do these grow a different plant and then onions come off of that?
No, they don't grow a different plant and onions come off of them, but it will grow a new bulb.
Okay, so this is not what's going to grow into your
Well,
giant.
yeah.
Yes, but no.
The sprout is in there. It's going to grow and use up the energy that's in this bulb
Okay.
and produce a nice big.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Hey Randy, Kate Showalter wants to know, can you plant multiple varieties of potatoes together?
Like if
Right offhand, I don't see any reason you couldn't, but I will research that as well.
I would just think you would harvest at a different time.
It would be
If
harvested
the
at a
cobbler's going to be
different
in early, your Yukon's late.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's going to occur. But as far as cross pollination, I don't think there's any issues with that. But I will double check that.
cool.
Thanks for the question.
Yeah.
Some of the things you can plant right now are your onions, lettuce, radishes. Might be just a tad early for the potatoes. Yes, that's what
Yes.
you can plant now. The reason I brought a pack of beans over here just because I wanted to showcase these a little bit. This is a Roma 2 variety. When people ask us for a recommendation on green beans, this is my go-to. It's a wide, fleshy green bean with small seeds inside and very little strings. And just about everybody we've recommended these to came back and said, you know, that's really a good green bean. And we sell more and more of these every year.
Cool. So my questions, I have a lot. I'm not very good at planting. I get this usually, and these are awesome. They kind of puff up. You put water on these little tiny discs in here, and they puff up, and then you plant your little seed in there, and then it sprouts. And I get it to about that stage, and then I don't know what to do with it, and it just dies. So I've wasted a lot of time and effort getting it to that stage, and then I'm like, oh, I'll transplant it, and then it dies.
Well, at that stage, don't over-fertilize it. That's a common mistake.
Well, I wasn't fertilizing at all.
Then that may have had something to do with it. But it's basically, if you're going to transplant it into a seed starting mix that has just about the right amount of starting fertilizer in there. So go ahead and use that. Don't use any high nitrogen fertilizer because your top will outgrow the roots and it won't sustain itself.
So after it's at this point, you need to put it in something bigger with a little bit more soil,
Yes.
a little bit more food.
Yeah, and a low nitrogen.
Okay, cool.
Low nitrogen.
Well,
And
that's,
there are starter fertilizers out there, and we can show you those too.
well, that's why you would come in here to talk to him.
Right.
Don't come to me. I will kill your plants.
And when you're getting your garden ready, a lot of people ask about soil samples and soil tests. I'm not taking anything away from a true soil sample where you go out and take samples from different parts of your garden, put them in a plastic bucket. Don't handle it with your bare hands. Use a plastic cup or something, and then take it to your local extension office or your local co-op and have it sent away for a complete soil analysis. If you don't have time for that and you want to do a quick test, there's a lot of these little testers on the market. This one's about $15. It'll test fertilizer levels, it'll test pH, it'll test whether or not you're in sun or shade, and it'll also test for moisture. So it's a good basic test. It won't ever take the place of a complete soil test that a university will do.
Awesome. So that's a primer.
That's a primer.
There's so much more.
And just to touch real quickly on what to do for your lawn this time of the year, here's a new product that I'm going to try this year because I've had a terrible problem with henbit and chickweed and crabgrass. This is a new product. This little bag will treat 5,000 square feet. It'll stop the germination of crabgrass seed, henbit seed, chickweed seed. Those little hard to kill grassy weeds. I'm looking forward to try that, and hopefully I'll be able to give a report on that after I get it down, see what the results are.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to let everybody know about our upcoming crafter hours. We're not having one here in March. Miss Thea took a job away from us, which is a really great opportunity for her. She's working up at JMU now. But that left me in the lurch for March because I was not prepared with anything. So we're going to move on into April. And on April 12th, second week of April, we're going to be making these cute little mini hanging planters. Now, what we're making are the stands and these, and we'll have the jars, and we're going to make the wire for them as well. And you can plant herbs in there if you want. We're also offering to bring in some succulents from Showalter's Orchard. They've got some in their greenhouse right now. And I went over there and checked them out yesterday, and they're really beautiful. And I made some pictures of them in there. You can go and register online. For our April Crafter Hours, we're going to be doing it here in Timberville on the 12th, and the week after we'll be up in Bridgewater making these really cute little hanging planters. Just another fun way to bring some springtime into your house. Herbs are easy to grow. I have grown herbs before, and I haven't killed them until I harvested. You know, that's usually my problem. I'm like, all of the herbs, take them now. But yeah, join us for Crafter Hours. Come in the store anytime you need help with your spring planting. We'll help you get a garden this year.
And remember, we don't mind your questions. We don't mind them at all.
Thanks, everybody.